Welcome to the Xylo Forge. The Patrol.
Chapter 3. Buried Whisper. Steve's days off had become anything but restful. Instead of relaxing and enjoying himself, he found himself spending hours at the local library, surrounded by old newspapers, and the browser on his laptop open with tabs of historical records, subreddits, and archives of old articles. The internet, while a plethora of information, proved to be not only a treasure trove, but also a convoluted labyrinth. Still, he was determined to unearth the secrets of the Phoenix Towers. One afternoon, his persistence finally paid off. Hidden among the comments section of an old, unupdated for years, blog reviewing local businesses from decades past, he found it, a mention of a crime scene at the address of the Phoenix Towers. Oddly, though, it was referenced as Marwood Towers. The comment was brief, almost overlooked, but it was the break Steve needed. With this new information in hand, he kept digging, cross-referencing the building's old name with crime reports from the time before the top floor was sealed off and the building was renamed. The search led him to the digital archives of a local newspaper, which went out of business years ago following the growth of the internet. Clicking quickly, Steve drilled down various folders and slammed his fist on the desk as he was greeted by only a bold note in a large font, stating, "Sorry, you have reached an empty page." He leaned back, closing his eyes, and suddenly jolted forward. He shot up from his chair and lifted the boxes of old newspaper archives onto the desk. He ruffled through, this time knowing what he was looking for. Finally, there it was. He flipped the pages, and as clear as day in black and white was the headline that sent chills down his spine. Mystery surrounds 8 unexplained deaths at Marwood Towers. The articles detailed how, over a period of a few months, 8 employees who worked on what today is the forbidden top floor were found dead. No suspects were ever identified, and the cause of death was never determined. The case was eventually closed due to lack of evidence. In a typical effort to avoid too much publicity and to save themselves from an enormous amount of red tape, the city officials made a deal with the building owner that allowed the building to remain operational on the condition that the top floor be permanently sealed. Shortly after, the name was changed to what it is known as today, the Phoenix Towers. Now, with a somewhat relieved curiosity, Steve's discovery haunted him in a new way. Each night at work, the sounds from above seemed to grow not only in volume, but in what appeared to be an increased urgency. The whispers, once a mere background noise, now filled his dreams, turning them into nightmares. The decision to break into and explore the top floor wasn't made out of bravery. It was made out of desperation. Steve felt driven by a force he couldn't explain, a desire, no, a need to silence the voices that had invaded his mind. He needed to see, to understand what was up there, pressuring him to find out, drawing him in. His meticulous planning covered every detail to make sure he wouldn't get caught. He would need tools to bypass the locked door, and he would need to disable the door alarm in case it still functioned. As Steve prepared, he couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched, not by cameras, but by something evasive to sight and touch. It felt like the building itself was watching, waiting, finally again, wanting to expose what was hidden so many years ago. Steve's obsession had morphed into a mission, not just to satisfy his curiosity, but perhaps to lay to rest the turmoil that had taken hold of his life since that first night.